Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I am Sunique and here I've got two decks by Kristoffer Hughes, or Kristoffer Hughes, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce this. Different artists. We've got Erin O'Leary for our Yule Tarot and we have Nadia Turner for our Bee Tarot. So let's take the cellophane off. So, backstory. I've had this Yule Tarot for some time but not opened it because around the time of Yule I was using a different deck. I was using the vintage Christmas Tarot by Hattie Thorne. For next year I'll use this Yule Tarot. So it's nice to actually have decks that align with the time of year, and at the moment we're in spring, so we're not quite in summer, which I think this Bee Tarot would invoke for me. And obviously we're not Yule, obviously. But I thought it might be nice to do a little side-by-side with Kristoffer's two decks, just to see how they align with the seasons. So, they're both Llewellyn decks. They're both around the same price, I think. It's got a little look at that handle with care. We've got some postage marks on here. It's a delightful looking deck. We've got postal marks there as well. And with the Bee Tarot, we've got the bee hive in the background of the bee. And these are the backs. We have hope, warmth and tarot cheer for the most wonderful time of the year for Yule. And follow the keeper's journey into the magical world of bees for the Bee Tarot. See, it looks very spring to me, this. And I'm actually seeing bees at the moment as well. They've come into the gardens and all around by the coast, so it's really nice to see them. So I think I can immediately see, just looking at these images at the back here, this looks colder, doesn't it? The blues and the whites give that cold feel. Colours so evocative of feelings. Here we've got a lot warmer tone here. I'm quite looking forward to doing this side by side. I think it'd be great. So for the Yuletide, keep the childlike wonder of midwinter burning brightly with the help of this festive deck, featuring reimagined suits of candles for wands, good cheer for cups, canes for swords, and gifts for pentacles. The Yuletide Tarot honours the spiritual time of year, remaining true to Rider-Waite-Smith, and then the guidebook is 312 pages, full colour. This one is through 78 cards buzzing, with divinatory energy, I like that. Best-selling author Kristoffer Hughes explores the symbiotic relationship between bees and humankind. Discover the life cycle of bees, the archetypes of their world, and their mythological and cultural attributes. And this one has a 296-page guidebook. Now here it says at the top, ask the wild bee what the old druids knew. Now Kristoffer Hughes is the head of the Anglesey Druid Order in Wales. There's a little bit of a background to the creator of these decks. So very druid backdrop, I would think. So we'll open this one. It's a magnetic box. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? On the shortest day and the longest night, my gift to you is the warmth of light. This is beautiful. It looks like an offset card on top of candy cane. So it's beautiful imagery. Woo, lovely. This is the back. Recapture the joy and wisdom of this enchanted season by learning to see each card through the childlike eyes. I like to see the world through childlike eyes. Best-selling author Kristoffer Hughes helps you navigate the Yuletide Tarot, encouraging you to explore seasonal energies and find guidance in Erin O'Leary Brown's unforgettable illustrations. It looks as if it's got twine around here, string. Oh, this motif is on the back of each page. And we've got full colour image on this side. The magic of midwinter. And these are the cards. Nice red ribbon. The bottom of the box. I would presume there's quite a few walkthroughs of this deck already because Christmas has come and gone, hasn't it? I'm going to take the cellophane off of this one. We've got quite shiny cardstock, slippery cardstock for this deck. These are the backs. What's that? Oh, Christmas wreath and some holly, and yeah, really nice. So that's that one. Let's take this one. And again, we've got a magnetic box. Beautiful. And this time we've got like this brown ribbon, and it's like honey coloured book, of course. It says, "Did the bees understand the mysteries of the Druids?" I'm sorry, the sun's just gone in behind a cloud. I'll give it a minute, I think. Or a second, it's coming back out. Okay. Did the bees understand the mysteries of the Druids, or did the bees perhaps give them access to those mysteries? And the book's called Into the Hive. Take the book again. Oh, it's different paper. It's different paper. So whereas the Yuletide is very glossy paper, this is, although there's a gloss on it, I don't know, it feels different, and it feels thinner. But yeah, same format. Feels more eco-friendly, actually. Okay, so put the two boxes to one side, and I'll open this one. Same cardstock. Just checking. Okay, so I'm going to do a side by side, so we can feel into the energies of the two seasons. And then we'll have a look at some cards from the deck in the guidebooks. Okay, so let's look at the two decks side by side and see how they align to the seasons. So our fools have been renamed. Here we've got the child, and here we've got the keeper. Now, is it foolish for the child to still believe in Father Christmas, to believe in magic? Here we've got the keeper. So why is the keeper a fool? Well, we've got smoke here that could be obstructing his view of the fact that he's on the side of a cliff there. And these bees are like buzzing around and distracting. So that could work. It looks like he's on his way to the hive. So the magician, we've got magician here, and we've got the magus here, or the magus, however you want to say that. Love in the backs. This is gorgeous. So he's cutting down mistletoe here, and got the magic tools in the basket there, and mushrooms. Feel the druidic energy from this card. And here we have the magician, and the magician is making honey. Yeah, really nice. Still got all the tools. Well, this is completely different. The Mary Lude, that's Welsh, and the Melissay here. So perhaps this is the goddess of bees, possibly. Empress here is very much pregnant Matrona. Reminds me of matron and maternity, maybe that's the where the word derives from. And here we've got our empress with a bee on their finger and some beautiful cornflowers in their hands. Look at that crown of bee crown. We've got here mistletoe. Yeah. Oh, our emperor has a beard of bees. Okay. I don't think I'd move if that was me. And we have the Holly King. So for our Hierophant, we have two completely different energies here. We've got Sinterklaas, which I presume is Santa Claus. Looks like it. And surrounded by animals. Fox, bunny rabbit, deer. We've got animals in the tree as well. And here we've got the Delphic bee, which is the oracle. Greek oracle, isn't it, the Delphi? Oh, a lover's card. We've got mistletoe here, kissing under the mistletoe, which is an old tradition. And here we've got honeymoon, which is the holiday after the wedding, isn't it? And I do believe it's actually named after the moon that's in the sky during May, I think. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, and mead as well, which is made from honey, which is very nice. I love mead. The Chariot is the barrow in the B deck. So for the Chariot, we've got Father Christmas, thankfully in green, not the Coca-Cola colour. Riding his chariot across the sky, bringing the gifts to the children. And here we have the beekeeper with a hive in the wheelbarrow. Look at all these beautiful flowers as well. Strength. This is gorgeous, isn't it? The wild stag. Approaching a wild stag. I think wild stag is calling to me as the past few days. Synchronicities, things that are happening, and yeah, wild stag energy is definitely coming towards me. Something I'm going to explore. Anyway, strength, here we have a fairy in a meadow. And all these bees here. Father Christmas for the hermit. And it just says hermit on this card. So both of them have got their lanterns for different reasons. So here, Father Christmas is winding his way down the path, finding his way next step at a time to deliver these here presents, I think, on his back. And here the beekeeper is coming out in the middle of the night just to make sure the hive is okay. The Wheel of the Year. I thought this would be interesting, actually. So here we've got winter, Samhain, midwinter and Imbolc. And here we've got a herb garden. This reminds me of Buckfast Abbey in Devon. They've got herb gardens all over. If ever you get a chance to visit Buckfast Abbey, Buckfastleigh, it's run by monks, as it says, and that's where they make mead on the property as well and then sell it. Yeah, anyway, by the by. So, for justice. Oh, these are quite difficult cards, both, aren't they? So what's happened here? I think, and I'm guessing here, that this little boy has been naughty, crept down in the middle of the night and opened a present that they shouldn't have, only to find it's coal. So yeah, getting your just rewards there. And here the bee is actually stinging the person for some reason, feels threatened. Hanged one. So here it is hanged man, here it is hanged one, and again smothered in bees. Oh, it's quite, I don't know. If you don't like bees, you're really not going to like this deck. And what's happening here? We've got the runestones, I think. So this is Odin covering one eye. So he gave up an eye for knowledge, and they're on the tree of knowledge as well. The looks of things. We have card 13. It says the Rose and Crown. It's an interesting image, isn't it? What are they pointing to here? Not sure. We have a gravestone here with 13 written on it and a wreath. So here we've got balance in the Yule tide, and we're looking at the front of the chariot. Hands wide, time. So time is, there's only one time that the presents can be taken, one night a year, so it's limited time. But it's also warped time, because how would they deliver all those presents in just such a short time to everybody all over the world? So yeah, it's bending time, isn't it? And here with Temperance, we've got quite a Rider-Waite-Smith type energy with the cups. Look at this go. It's a beehive. Is the bees actually going in? Incredibly beautiful artwork in both decks. I like this. We have the Krampus as the devil. And Krampus takes naughty children away. If you've been naughty, Christmas, the Krampus will come and get you. Yeah, we have processions with Krampus in the procession down here in Cornwall. It's all good fun. And here we have the devil as somebody making profit, a lot of profit out of the work of the bees. Not in a good way. The tower. So here our Christmas tree is being split into two by lightning, and here the hive is being destroyed by lightning. We have the star, and of course we've got the star on top of the Christmas tree, of course. How beautiful. And here our star is a little bit more traditional, although both feet are in the water for some reason, not one on land, which we normally see. It's a little bit different. The moon. So we've got the moon sort of depicted here in this picture on the mantelpiece, and we've even got the dogs and wolves here on the mantel shelf. The Yule log is burning, and it looks like a very happy family, but is that an illusion? It being the moon card. Here we're walking the path, or the bridge across the water in the moon card. It's getting on top of our emotions there. The sun, our skating rink, and a picnic. I don't think I'd want to picnic in the freezing cold. Just me. I'm not a lover of the cold. This is more my thing. Sunflowers, yeah, sunflowers for the sun. And then rebirth and the list. Okay, so this is the naughty list. For judgments. So we're being judged well and truly here, naughty or nice. And here we have rebirth for the judgment card, which is the awakening. So yeah, that works really well. And then for our world cards, we've kept a wreath there, although it's not going all the way around our world dancer. Here we've got more of the stance of the world dancer. This is their worlds. Okay, so we come on to our minors. So we begin with the wand suit, here renamed as candles. So we've got that spark for our ace, a promise. Here we have a 2, the ace. Oh, okay. I'm going to reorder it so that they're both the same. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, this should work now. I've put them in correct order. For the wand suit in the Yuletide Tarot, we have candles, but we haven't renamed them in the Bee Tarot, so we still have wands. You can still see this energy in the background here, I think. Like we can see there as well, that energy that's coming from that spark. 2, we're writing our Christmas cards, sending them out into the world, so preparing to send them out in the world. That's really nice. And here we're coming from the gate, from our garden to the hive for the 2. For the 3, we're both looking out. Here we're looking at a very cold scene, and here's more sort of a traditional type of imagery. The 4, Christmas dinner, and the 4 is the actual hive. And we've got the celebration about to begin. Lavender fields. Oh, beautiful. The 5. Bit of conflict going on here. Not overly sure what's going on though in this card. There's something to do with a letter. And here we've got a more traditional type of discussion going on with our wands. The 6. The victory card. Beautiful. That's really nice. And we've got a plough horse here. The 7. Being asked to go on stage, looking not too happy about it. And here we've got another hive image defending it, one would presume. That 8, the Swift card. So we can see the wind having an effect on the candles there. And here they're coming as we expect. The 9, oh dear. Yes, well, we've had a bit of trauma in both of these, haven't we? So the bottom of the bag has split and everything's come falling out of the bottom in the sleet. I think that's sleet. And here the hive is on fire and the bees have gone. And then 10. Okay, the credit card bills have come in after Christmas. And here, oh, we've got a bee absolutely full of pollen on the legs there that they've collected. Could drag them down. Okay. So our pages, here is a princess, this is page. So our page of candles is lighting the candles. And our princess here is at 1 in their element, learning perhaps the skill of beekeeping. The knight, we've got the little boy with the train set. And the prince, well, we have a cat or a kitten here within the beehives for some reason. That's puzzling me. The queens, both queens. This is like a mother energy here, isn't it? The Queen of Wands would normally have a lot more energy than I'm seeing here. Seems very passive for a Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands here. Yeah, got the fire in the palm of a hand. Got the cat. I like that one. And the king, well, that's the father, isn't it? Again, rather passive for a fire suit. There's smoke in a pipe, so I presume that's fire. But yeah, passively reading a book. This looks more in line with the energy of a King of Wands, in my opinion. Okay, so cups are, in this deck, Yuletide, they are good cheer, and they are jars in the Bee Tarot. And this is our ace. So we've got an overflowing honey pot there, that's brilliant. And we've got some mulled wine for our ace there. Okay, so our 2 of good cheer, 2 of jars. Here we've got this connection between these two and the connection here. It's interesting. The 3. Yes. Nice in both. 4. Okay, so we've got the spilled cups here, and here we're not paying attention to what we're doing, and so we're spilling the honey. The honey is overflowing. I like the way they've got this on the t-shirt here to represent the beehive. This one looks quite under stress here. The 5s. We've got the broken cups. Maybe broken jars there. So yeah, we've got the full jars here, but we're not focusing on them. Same here, we're not focusing on the 2 full cups of mead, maybe. 6, the childhood memories and the nostalgia. Both depicted brilliantly there. The 7 of good cheer, 7 of jars. So we have all our choices in this card. It's a snowman making the choices. It's quite interesting. And here, maybe we're deciding what recipes to use with our honey. I think these might be recipe books. And it says beekeepers, beekeeping. I've got a cup of tea. 8 of good cheer. Yeah. A lot of cocktails, huh? And here we've got the walking away type imagery we're used to. Look at this, paper peeling off the walls. It's not a good sign, is it? A 9. This is after the party, presumably. Feeling really content. And the 9 here, yeah, content with everything we've achieved. So the 10, we've got the family scenes. It's nice that there are little bumblebee fairies here. That's really nice. Here we've got the children building a snowman and all the cups on the Christmas tree, which is on the fir tree, which is nice. The page. Okay. So here we're making our mulled wine and we're having a cup for ourselves. And why ever not? The Princess of Jars here is playing with the bees. Not something I would recommend. Oh, look at our prince here. Quite a Greek feel, isn't it, that one? And here we've got, I like this, we've got the horse on the jumper there to signify the nice, and yeah, the romanticism as well. The Queen. So that looks like the same background. Where are we going? Yeah, here we go. So that looks like the same background there, doesn't it? We've used the same background. We've got a different deity, maybe? It looks quite Greek, if I'm not mistaken. Foot in the water there for the water element. And here we've got a crystal ball and Christmas cards for our Queen. And for the King, we've got a ship in a bottle. That's quite funny. But we've got the fish here on the motif on the sweatshirt there. But the same background in that one as well. This is interesting, isn't it? Because we've got the same backgrounds in the courts. Yeah. In both decks. We've got the same backgrounds. So this is how the courts mature. Alrighty, let's look at our sword suit, and here we have canes renamed, and we have a cane over a branch, holly branch. This is nice. The 2. Okay, it doesn't have the same impact when they're candy canes as it does when they're actual swords. And we're trying to make this decision. This is a bit like eeny, meeny, miny, mo energy. Oh, this holds that energy a lot more, I think. The 3. So here we've kept the 3 swords in the heart. This doesn't have the same impact really, does it? It's a lot gentler energy. The 4. Okay, so we're eternal rest there, whereas we're just resting in a daffodil field here. So that's quite different. The 5s. Well, that was a mean thing to do, wasn't it? But it's not the end of the world. We can rebuild the snowman. Yeah, it was a bit nasty. And here we've got a woodpecker having a little go at the hive. The 6s. Okay, so instead of going away in a boat, we're going away in a car here. So I think we're going to visit relatives. Whereas here, we are going into calmer waters, aren't we? The 7. So nothing left on the shelves. That's it. That's all of them. Taking the lot, not leaving anything for anybody else. And here we've got the swords are actually in the hive, destroying it. The 8 card, the trap card. We can easily get out of that. It's only tape, isn't it? Again, we've got swords in the hive. It seems to be a bit of a recurring theme. We've got it both for the 7 and the 8. Here we've got some ivy growing around, so it's been some time. That's been abandoned. Okay, so our 9. So we've got that same theme here of going into debt for Christmas, I think. Trying to weigh up how we're going to pay for it all. That's keeping us up at night. Here, it doesn't tell us, it doesn't really give that much of a clue as to why this one's having a disturbed sleep. I think that's we need to go to the guidebook really to find that one out. And then the Ten of Swords, we've got that decapitated snowman again. Haven't we? So we've used the same imagery. For some reason. But it's been left, so they didn't actually put him back together at the end of the day. And this one, the hive is actually now on fire, and we've still got the swords in there, so it's got even worse, hasn't it? Our page. Same sort of energy really. 2. Our knight. So we're going to go again with the same background, I presume. Knight, Queen, and King. Yeah. And Queen's got a little robin. Knight with a toboggan and a page. Even the snowman a candy cane. What's happening here? So yeah, we've got the same background, showing the maturity of the court cards. Okay, so finally the pentacles. So here we've got a gift left at the door, and here we've got some honey cake we've made from the honey. Cinnamon sticks, lovely. The 2 of gifts, or 2 of pentacles. So we've got our balancing element and we've got the ships. Here we're balancing our gifts. The 3. Oh, we're making a doll's house, how nice. And here we're in a church. Okay, 4. Them clutching on to what we've got. To 5, the outsider card. Some comfort there. The 6, giving and receiving. 7, pointing the presents under the bed. That's nice, isn't it? And here we've got a stall. Selling the wares. The 8, so putting the work in there. The 9, content in our world. The 10, we've got all the generations here around the fire, giving and receiving gifts. And here we seem to have, is that our hermit? Okay, so that looks like a card out of the Yule tarot, doesn't it? This looks like a bit like the Hermit. So there's a bit of a crossover there with the 2 decks. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So, is this Father Time in the 10 of Pentacles? Cronus? That's really interesting. That's caught my interest, that has. Okay, the Princess. So we're on to the court cards now. So our Princess in Pentacles here in the B tarot is a B. That's really nice. Our Princess here, let's just put these together. So I think that's more helpful. So we've got the parents, the son and the daughter, which is what we've had throughout the deck. All with the same background. And all, these don't feel that they give much really, do they? For me anyway, not the energy of the courts. It's not firing my imagination up really, in all honesty. There. So that's the Yuletide. And then in the B, Princess, Prince, Queen, King. And they are all Bs. That's interesting. And it would seem we might have, yeah, we've got different backgrounds in this suit. So here we've got looks like a Scottish thistle. Here, apple blossom, ivy and ivy. And we've also got some Egyptian imagery in the background as well there. Okay, so that's the two decks side by side. So let's have a little look at the differences in the guidebooks. Quality wise, this feels more substantial paper than this. This feels very thin, very thin. They're both glue bound. That's nice, isn't it? The way they've still got the motif there at the top that's on the background here, like that. Have they done the same there? Yeah, it looks like, if the light's getting it, it looks like a hive there as well. Those eyes are sort of almost look like bees' eyes. That's really clever the way that's done. Okay, I'm getting carried away. Let's have a look at the Midwinter book. Magic of Midwinter, a guide to the Yuletide Tarot. We've got a great big image here of the back of the deck. Some of the images from the deck, about the author, about the illustrator. Another image from the deck. Contents page, so this is 2023. An introduction. 2 pages. Tarot basics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages of introduction there, and then we've got some information on a major arcana, and this is nice. This is nice. They've actually gone to the trouble here of doing the septenaries. So the 4 is on the outside, and then the 7 lines. You'll find that in, I think, Rachel Pollock's book. That's the structure of the major, which is great. We've got the traditional names, the Yuletide Tarot names, and the keywords here. I'm loving the colourways. Then we talk about the minors, the suits, what they're traditionally called and what they're called in this deck. Some keywords for numbers and for the court cards, personality type. So then here we are onto the majors. A little bit introduction to the major arcana card, and then we're into each card. So we have 3 keywords. We have a right up there within a border. 1, 2. We've got a divinatory meaning and a reverse meaning. 2.5 pages. Okay, with the full colour image. So the Marilude, which is probably not how it's actually pronounced, but Welsh is a very strange language. So this is the Queen of Winter, the physical embodiment of winter, the Marilude. She is the High Priestess, the Bone Queen. So that's the majors. And then on the minors, we've got an introduction to them. So an introduction to the aces. So we're going in the way that the deck was structured when I opened it, which is all the aces and then all the 2s. So it's nice to actually look at a deck like that sometimes. Okay, the root of the powers of fire. So we've got the Golden Dawn association there, root of the powers of fire. That's very Golden Dawn. We've got there 3 keywords. Right up. Divinatory meaning and reverse. So there's not as much information, but then there very rarely is when you come to the minor arcana cards, but we've still got the full colour images on the facing page. Do we have spreads? Spreads. Looks like a Christmas tree spread. Yes, the Yule tree spread. We start with the gift, last year's achievement. So we're going on a timeline there. Reflective questions. And then questions for the following year. And then a final card. Okay, so we have a 12 days of Yule spread. This is a monthly spread. So if you're one of those people that like to do a year ahead spread, this would really work here. Because we actually have questions as well. So on Solstice Eve, we can ask what challenges me for the month of January. So we pull the card on the month before. These are the dates that we actually pull the card. So here we are, 12 days. So it's the 12 days of Christmas, I would imagine, and then we pull a card each day for the corresponding month. So we're pulling the first card for the first month of the year. The Darkest Night spread. The Three Ghosts spread. It's a Dickens reference. The list, okay, so that's our Christmas list. We have some acknowledgements and some recommended readings. 2 pages. And that's the book. Okay, so for Into the Hive. What do we have here? Well, it's also written by Kristoffer, so I presume it's pretty much going to be similar. So this one is 2024, so it's just come out actually. Oh, look at this. This is funny. The wiggle dance, because bees do a wiggle dance, don't they? So we've got an introduction into the hive, the magical world of bees, beyond the hive, the magical world of tarot. The waggle dance, I got that wrong, didn't I? I said wiggle. The waggle dance, how to read the tarot. Then we've got the major, the minor, some spreads, conclusion and acknowledgements. So here's that introduction. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love these. I know some people think it's a waste of a book, paper, page, and want more information, whereas I don't know. I think when you get an image that's that big compared to the size of the card, I just think it's wonderful. We can really go in and see the details. So we got 2.5 pages of intro, talking about bees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pages of information on bees. Honey is liquid sunshine and very healing. Beyond the hive, so this is all about tarot, background to tarot, the structure of tarot and the archetypes. Here we have some simple meanings for the archetypes in the major arcana. Then we have, there's only one difference in the naming of the suits, which jars is 4 cups, that's the only thing. We have the elemental associations, we have the numerical associations, and then we have the court card associations. How to read tarot, 2.5 pages, and then we're into the majors. Buzzwords. So again, we've got 3 keywords, just like we did have in the Yuletide. So for the keeper, we have new beginning, opportunities, and taking risks. And we have, in the Yuletide, beginning, adventure, and spontaneity. So we get different keywords. We're not just rehashing what's in the other book. And we've got, what, 1.5 pages, and upright or reversed. Yeah, this is interesting. We have got some Greek references, which I did think that was what was going on here. So Melissa is taken from the word mel, which is taken from honey, so it's a honeybee. In ancient Greek mythology, the Melissa is a nymph who tended to the infant Zeus and fed him honey rather than milk. That's cool. Alrighty, so that's the majors, and then the minors. Oh, quite a bit of text for that as well, which is great. Again, we're still getting our buzzwords. Yeah, 1.5 pages, and upright or reversed. And we have our spreads. So it tells you what spreads are. And then we have the 4B spread: honeybee, bumblebee, wasp, and hornet. Ooh. Forager spread, 6-card spread. The 10-card spread, which looks very much like a Celtic cross. Yeah, modified Celtic cross. The hive and flower spread. The waggle dance. So we have 8 cards in that one. The meadow spread for a 5-card spread. And then the cast spread, which is a yes or no spread. Worker, drone, and queen. Conclusion. And some simple things you can do to help our planet's bee population. That's nice. There we go. So those are the guidebooks. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a major card, a minor card and a court card from each deck, same one, and compare them in the two decks. So what do we have? So we'll randomly take a major card. And we have the Delphic Bee, which is our Hierophant, which in this deck, okay, so there's the two majors. And let's see how they align. So we've got the two columns there. Here there are trees, here they are actual columns. So Sinterklaas. And the keywords are beliefs, learning and wisdom. And then in the Hive Tarot, wisdom, spirituality and tradition. So this is St. Nicholas. The memory of the Holly King is held in the continuation of seasonal symbols, here in the guise of Sinterklaas. The spirit of St. Nicholas can be seen within the figure of Sinterklaas, with his feast day being December the 6th. Many northern European countries exchange gifts on the eve of his feast day. While St. Nicholas is reputed to have been a real-life bishop and the patron saint of children, the figure itself is steeped in the mysteries of the season. Sinterklaas is one of the many sources that inspired the figure of Santa Claus. He is a persona that emanates sagacity, sageness, wisdom and justice and righteousness wrapped about with ribbons of mystery. Well, that's a nice sentence. He is the embodiment of the spiritual significance of the season and the ever-evolving expression of midwinter rituals. Many writers and historians have been tempted to consider Sinterklaas to be a remnant of pre-Christian cultures, owing mostly to the non-ecclesiastical attributes commonly associated with him. To the child, he is the embodiment of wisdom and learning, teaching and tradition. Within the figure of Sinterklaas, the child perceives the magic of continuation, held in ever-evolving traditions. Sinterklaas represents the hook upon which many winter traditions have hung their coats and contributed to the mystery that he represents. And then the meaning. Finding this card in a reading implies that subtle yet powerful forces are at play and are attempting to teach you valuable lessons. This is a card that is striving to guide you into making wise decisions, taking all factors into account. Do not rely on knowledge alone, for Sinterklaas tells us that knowledge itself does not always lead to wisdom. Align your virtues with the situation and reassess it using your wisdom. Trust your own. There's this word again, sagacity, sageness, we say, yeah. To guide your ideals so that they move in line with your virtues. Sinterklaas is a teacher. This card may imply that the situation is there to teach you something of value. Yeah, maybe how to say sagacity. Dear, I'm having real problems with that one. And then reverse. The situation has become unclear and muddied. No wisdom has been expressed, and therefore the situation has become one-sided. The teacher may need further lessons in aligning their work with the virtues that they hold dearest. A lack of wisdom has destabilised the situation, and faith is lacking. Try to find the wisdom that is needed to put the situation back on the right track. That's a really deep entry. Really deep. And I presume it's going to be just as deep in this one. So the Delphic Bee. This is the Delphic Bee, sometimes referred to as the Oracle of Delphi, or Delphi. A priestess of Apollo. She's sitting between the two pillars of the temple with honey flowing from her hands. Her name is Pythia, and she represents an age of wisdom and prophecy that dominated Greece for centuries. Situated in the navel of the world, approximately 130 miles northwest of Athens, there was a hill guarded by a giant snake. Apollo killed the snake and buried it beneath the temple, and his worshippers flocked to the region where his priestesses revealed divine truths. The Pythia, whose name is derived from the Greek word python, was the high priestess who worked the temple. She could bring forth utterings from the gods that others in the temple had to interpret. Her ability to prophesy came from divine knowledge in the form of hallucinogenic vapours that arose from deep within the site itself. You can see the vapours. People from all over the world visited the temple at Delphi as the Pythias sat for only 9 days of the year during the non-winter months. Priests would study the sacrificial offerings made by petitioners to decide if they were worthy of meeting the Pythia or the Pythia. While sitting upon a tripod stand, she would enter a trance and channel prophetic answers. Often she would speak gibberish, and the priests of the temple would interpret. In this deck, she represents the attributes of the Hierophant in traditional decks, expressing the qualities of seeking wisdom from both the external and internal worlds. Upright, you are being called to consider, study, or commit yourself to a particular path, reflection, or spirituality. If you are a member of a group or an institution, it is time to take a step forward into a position of teaching or spiritual leadership. And reversed, it's time to question the status quo and the channels of authority around you. Now is the time to stand in your power. Abandon the inner saboteur and the imposter syndrome. You have what is required to challenge the system and bring transformation to the fore. These guidebook entries are just blowing my mind. They are so good. Okay. So good. Oh, okay. So let's have a little look at a minor arcana card. Because if they're anything like those majors, they're just amazing. Okay, I'm just going to find a minor arcana to look at. So let's see what comes up. A court card. Okay, so we're going to look at the Queen of Swords. We can really see the difference in the seasons here, can't we? Really see them. Okay, so let's have a look at the midwinter Queen of Canes. So our keywords are sharp, forthright and astute. And then in this one, they are independent, direct and experienced. Okay, here we have our Queen of Canes. The Queen of Canes is a strong-willed individual who may appear distant, cold and aloof. But do not be deceived, for this is a powerful individual who knows exactly what they are doing. They're not likely to express their emotions at all, but they are extremely effective in telling others what they think of them. This can often make them appear spiteful, and they have a tendency to be mean. Much of this will have its roots in past hurts and unresolved matters of the heart, but rather than dealing with it, they will hide it underneath a veneer of cleverness and quick wit. The reversed meaning: rarely can this character see the good things in life, and life has become dulled by their own negativity and a tendency to overthink. Their ability to see clearly has been muddied by the sorrows that they tend to fixate upon, almost obsessively. Okay, so the Queen of Swords in our B Tarot, it's in contrast to the less mature Prince and Princess. The Queen has been around the block a few times, but rather than having softened her countenance, it has caused her to be somewhat stern and prone to aloofness. She is the ultimate cynic. She has seen the ways of the world and been on the receiving end of people's bad behaviour. The sword has never been used defensively, but rather as a cutting device that severed her from situations that no longer served. This individual is a widow or a widower, someone who has experienced divorce. That's an old-fashioned meaning, actually, for the Queen of Swords, isn't it? Because of this. Have they got it on there? I'm looking. But no, there's normally a cord around the wrist that has been cut, which shows that they're divorced. Anyway. She was someone who was forsaken or taken for granted. Having learnt from that, she sees the world through a clear lens and not through rose-tinted glasses. You would be right in thinking that this person might be bitter, but she's not. She does not hold the world accountable for what has happened to her, but it has deeply transformed the way she sees the world. As a direct result of her experience, she is incredibly discerning and can see right through a situation to the truth at its heart. And then we have an upright. This card makes reference to someone who may appear cold and aloof, but this is a protective strategy rather than a defensive one. She does not give of her affections easily and may appear severe and unfeeling. Don't ask her to manage people. She's better with logical matters and the analysing of data and ideas. Just like the bumblebee, she appears on the surface to be gentle and meek, but her sting is immediate, painful and surprising. And then reverse, this is a person that, if crossed, will become mean and vengeful. Her dominating nature will see faults in others and will take pleasure in demeaning them. This is the cruel edge of the mind that has suffered too much hurt in the past, and in turn she lashes out to hurt others. So we can see the energy of a Queen of Swords, but they are slightly different, aren't they, in each deck? Okay, let's find a minor arcana card to compare. And we have, oh dear, 9 of Swords, 9 of Canes, our worry card, our keeping us up at night card. There we go. Right in Yuletide, we have anxiety, mental anguish and disturbances. And then in the Bee Tarot, the buzzwords are anxiety, guilt and anguish. Slightly different, but we still have anxiety for both. Okay, in this card, the figure is being kept awake by the incessant costs of the season and is desperately attempting to balance the books. His partner, in stark contrast, sleeps peacefully next to him. Actually didn't see them. Under the blankets, actually didn't see the partner there. The 9 of Canes asks us to utilise our imaginations in manners that are conducive to true joy. Not the joy of bought objects, but rather the true meaning held within the Yuletide season. Connection, relationships and friendship. You can hang those canes from a string of festive lights, but they will still be there in the morning waiting to be dealt with. So the divinatory meaning, you are overthinking the situation and fixating on problems that may never transpire. You have become so lost in your own anxieties that you have become addicted to them. And in turn, the self-saboteur has raised its head and is stirring you from sleep and preventing you from slumber. The fears and anxieties you are facing are a product of your imagination, and you are causing them to escalate. Take a breath and reevaluate what you need to do and what you want to do and what is expected of you. You will find that some of those expectations are also products of your own imagination. And then in reverse, in this position, imagination has crept into reality and your inner fears are playing out on the apparent stage and affecting not only yourself but others. The future is now a place of abject fear and real worry. In essence, an element of self-fulfilling prophecy has come into play. Turning the 9 back upwards will not be an easy task, but you can do this by acknowledging that you have the power to transform the situation. Do not be led by your inner saboteur. And then in our Bee Tarot, there is a lot to unpack in this card, and the buzzwords offered above are merely the tip of the iceberg. This is truly a difficult card, for it's almost impossible to alleviate the issues the individual is suffering at its centre. Of all the cards in the tarot, this is the one that everyone can identify with, for it is something that commonly plagues the human mind. It is the overworking mind keeping us awake and in a perpetual state of mental anguish that seems to exasperate with every passing second. When all is quiet in the world, it seems to give the anguished mind permission to overthink, overworry, and create future scenarios of doom and gloom. Worries that come morning fade into insignificance. But in the dead of night, knowing that your alarm will soon be ringing through the house, your mind becomes your worst enemy and seems to lack any concern for your physical well-being and the necessity of rest. The presence of this card indicates true anxiety and worry that may stem from a number of real-world causes, but it can strongly suggest a death has occurred, and the keeper is in a state of acute grief. It may also indicate the smallest and almost insignificant of things that have worsened in the keeper's mind, and yet to others may seem utterly ridiculous. This is the card of nightmares, of visiting demons that scratch at our sensibilities when the world around you is asleep. It is a vision of isolation, riddled with guilt and the pain of having done something wrong, having not done enough, or having something taken away from you that you will never get back. We can see the progression of the mind's torment on the wall behind the figure, where the bees appear ever so faintly toward the bottom, but increase in clarity as they move upward toward the hexagonal patterns of the comb. In the dark, things take on a denseness that is unapparent in daytime. Upright, there is hope. Look to the blanket that covers the keeper. The bees continue to fly, and plants imply that there will always be growth. This anxiety and pain will pass. Give it time. And be kind to yourself. Share your burdens to halve their impact upon you. Reversed, the terribleness of this card is made real in the apparent world. There is true shame and embarrassment from the situation that surrounds you. It can often imply that someone's actions have been called to task, and they have been subjected to punishment or even physical imprisonment, as opposed to mental incarceration. Gosh. Both decks are quite deep, aren't they? Anyway, I will leave it there. There's a lot to chew on, a lot to ruminate on. I think the beauty of both of these decks is that are in the guidebook of each one. I think the guidebook is, well, Kristoffer Hughes as an author is amazing. I've not actually read any of their books because they do have quite a few books out. But these are the decks. So thank you so much for watching. That was the Bee Tarot and the Yuletide Tarot. And until my next video, bye friends. Bye now.